What is good? What is up? It's Jordan, or Texans Thoughts, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be breaking down the Texans Lions film and focus on Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller's dominance. They were virtually unstoppable and literally got Patricia fired. And you know, it's horrible to hear the news about Fuller, but it shouldn't overshadow just how amazing his season has been. I really hope the new regime does not let Deshaun Watson lose Fuller, because the two are special together. But in the video, we'll also look at Tyrell Adams' arguably best game of his career, racking up 17 tackles. So if you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button, subscribe for more content. It's the best way for you guys to show support for the channel. And of course, comment down below your thoughts on the video and the whole Will Fuller situation. Alright, let's break down the film, because the film don't lie. Deshaun Watson and Will Fuller have been a deadly quarterback wide receiver duo ever since they started playing together. They would put up video game like numbers, and when Deshaun has Fuller healthy, this offense is extremely explosive and dangerous. Fuller already has a career high 8 touchdowns and is on pace to get 12. So how does he win? Well, on this play, it shows that you just can't be impressed and not jam Fuller. He's given a free release, so there's nothing to slow him down from his routes. He uses a glide step where he's going to sort of hop, and you can see that both of his feet are at the same level right now. This means that he's not giving away which direction he's going to run. He can run any route in the book from this position. So he gives himself a two-way go where he can release inside or outside, and that means that the cornerback can't cheat to either direction. And all Fuller has to do is accelerate downfield, and the cornerback is toast. The other thing I like about this play is Deshaun's ability to hold the single high safety. He did this all day long versus the Lions cover 1, and off the snap he stares right down the middle of the field. So the safety can't cheat over to Fuller, and it's only at the top of his drop that he looks to Fuller and releases it instantly. Their connection is magical, and no play defined magical more than this flea flicker. In the post-game press conference, Deshaun admitted that they had dialed up a flea flicker, but if the Lions brought pressure, Duke was supposed to just run it and not pass it back. It looked that way at first, but Deshaun called an in-play audible and was screaming for Duke to pass it back. He saw that the run was balled up, but no one was guarding Fuller. His ability to have full control over this offense is something I touched on when Bill O'Brien first got fired. We saw a lot more pre-snap audibles like never before, but this in-play audible, that is taking it to a whole nother level. What's really impressed me this year with Fuller is that he's not just been the speed demon deep threat that he was projected out of Notre Dame, and even what he looked like with his role for the Texans in the first few years of his career. He's truly stepped into that wide receiver 1 role, and not only is putting up legit numbers, but he's become the chain mover for the Texans as well. 38 out of his 53 catches have gone for a first down, and when third down strikes, you can tell that Watson trusts him. This play is a great example of creating a mismatch through formations. The Texans knew Desmond Trufant was the guy to target. I mean, look at Fuller's last game against him. And so they went to a bunch formation to the field side and had Fuller isolated on the boundary side with Trufant. It's 3rd and 7 where we gotta move the chains, and so Fuller's going to run a nice slant. Again, he glide steps, Trufant can't tell where he's going. Then he goes upfield a bit. He understands the down and distance. If he broke the slant off early, Trufant could have tackled him before the sticks. So instead, Fuller goes upfield, makes sure he passes the sticks, and also leads Trufant upfield, then breaks it off. And look at all that space. You can tell Watson trusted Fuller on this play, and he was the main read because of how Watson acted. Off the snap, he instantly looks Fuller's way. He preemptively sidesteps the blitzing DB's path just in case Duke couldn't pick it up, and he fires it right between the numbers for the first down. Another slant here and another first down versus man coverage. Fuller runs the slant the same way, pressing upfield to get the defender worried about his deep speed before cutting it off. With all that space created, once you get the ball in his hands, it's over. Huge chunk plays are gonna happen. It's also worth noting that this play action looks a lot like the RPO play I've broken down a ton. However, the Lions linebackers played this very differently than most other defenses this year. they actually bite on the run fake for some reason, whereas most teams' defenses we've gone up against, they've just sat back and invited the run. However, with this leaves a gaping hole for Fuller to run through over the middle of the field, and that's just too easy. So we've seen that press man didn't work versus Fuller, but when the Texans got zone looks, they still picked the Lions apart. Again, the linebackers get sucked into the fake, and the cornerback is just way too far off coverage. I mean, there's nothing they can do against a quick slant like that. Easy money and first down. Fuller's route running has always been underrated in my opinion, but this year he's taken it to a new level. Again versus Trufant, and he shakes him out of his boots with that release. So when he brings his back foot forward, it looks like that glide step release he used before. But he's really just setting up a different release where that back foot actually hits the ground again before his front foot. And so if you plant off your left, you show like you're going to break right, and you can see Trufant gets a bit jumpy. He knows he needs to anticipate Fuller's release before it happens, or else he'll be toast. So he jumps inside, but then wait, Fuller plants that right foot and explodes outside instead. He completely turns around Trufant and beats him on the corner route. The only thing stopping him from a big gain was Trufant getting called for a hold. Fuller has become a route running technician and is out to prove that he's not just a deep threat. Another beautiful route here, and Trufant got injured at this point, but if you ask me, he was just tired of getting his ass whooped by Fuller all day and took himself out. But if you look here, we finally got a jam. It's not a free release, but it still doesn't matter. Fuller's gotten a whole lot better at beating physical jams like this with his quickness and hand usage. It's hard to tell, damn you all 22 in your non-HD resolution, but Fuller counters the jam with a swipe move, just swiping away the hands of the cornerback, and the important part here is that he keeps his feet moving. He doesn't just stand still, giving the cornerback an easy target. He pairs his feet with his hands and makes that jam tougher to execute. Watson gives him a perfect ball to catch in stride, and when he made that cut, I really thought he had 6, man. The last thing I want to talk about with these two is their chemistry. It's been on display since day one, but we're at an all-time high right now. Versus a cover 3 match here, the Texans are trying to use the threat of their other weapons to open things up for Fuller. You can see how the single high safety crashes down, trying to provide help on the boundary side. Akins has space on his go, Duke can kill this linebacker on a corner route, and Cooks is open too. All of that is going to draw attention from the single high safety and away from Fuller. And that should open up an open throw to Fuller on this post. But Tunsil gives up some pressure and Watson's got a dip. Fuller reads this though, and he doesn't continue his post route across the field, where Watson can't throw across his body like that. Instead, he makes it look almost like a designed post corner route and leaves the cornerback in the dust. This should have given him 3 touchdowns on the day, if not for a penalty, but you have to admire the fact that these two are always on the same page. When Nuke got traded, I was worried that we didn't have that guy that Watson could throw to when shit hit the fan. But Fuller's learned from Nuke and will always work to get open and give Watson a chance, because the play is never dead with him. Alright, let's move on to the defensive side of the ball, and y'all wanted me to break down Tyrell Adams' performance, so I got you. His 17 total tackles, 14 solo, really jump off the screen. However, we've got to be careful with box scores, especially with linebacker tackle numbers. Adams' average tackle depth was 8 yards. So on average, he was tackling guys 8 yards downfield. You know, he still did it a shit ton throughout the game, but those aren't the most valuable tackles. You know, he's not racking up the TFLs or even run stops, which qualify as 2 yards or less past the line of scrimmage. He only had 1 of those this game. But we've also got to understand his role, especially as a Mike linebacker. First, let's look at Adams' impact in the run game within the scope of what a Mike linebacker is supposed to do. BMAC was great at taking on blocks at the second level and allowing Zach Cunningham to run free to make the tackle himself. And Adams can do exactly that. It's not exactly a rare skill, not one where you should be paying BMAC as much as we're paying him, but it is vital for a defense to have this type of aggressive and physical linebacker. It's going to make Cunningham's job much easier. But what separates the mediocre run-stuffing linebackers from the good and great ones is how they're able to shed or avoid these blocks and still make the tackle themselves. Adams shows good tracking ability here, first shutting down the strong side C-gap, then as the running back cuts it back, he follows him and makes sure AP does not drag himself into the end zone. The more that Adams can evade getting blocked while still playing his gap disciplined, the better. Here, he's responsible for this A gap, but he reads the running back well, evades the block, and still makes the tackle, albeit 8 yards downfield. His best rep of the day was on this tackle where the center is going to get right into his face quickly, but he stacks it by extending his arms into their chest, pushing off, and makes a tackle. This is a great play out of him, and the running back only gets 4 yards, despite this looking very promising and them instantly getting to the second level because we can't hold the double team. And so these next 2 plays are going to be the fumbles that Adams forced, and while they're no doubt great plays by him, look at the depth these tackles are being made at. That's because the interior of our defensive line offers no resistance. They can't hold doubles, they get pushed off the line of scrimmage, and they almost always allow a blocker to get to Adams and usually Cunningham at the second level. The D-line needs to get better, whether that's through coaching or new faces, likely both, and then you'll see Adams make more tackles closer to the line of scrimmage. Versus the Lions, his average depth per tackle was 4.5 yards, and we just cannot be giving up 4.5 yards like that on a consistent basis. But looking at his other tackles, he had 7 solo tackles in coverage, and that average depth came in at 11.4 yards. But again, let's look at his performance under the scope of his situation. The Texans asked their linebackers to try and keep everything in front of them, and Adams has shown a good ability to do that. He'll rally and make a tackle to limit yak, and that's good. He's also been sort of a cleanup guy. If other guys miss tackles or if it's checked down to the running back, he's usually pretty good about not missing these in space. But while he's definitely not going to be a ball hawk in coverage, he's shown some ability to read quarterbacks' eyes and break on the ball. On this play, we're going to drop into a Tampa 2 look, and Adams is tasked with this kind of deeper zone. He's reading Stafford's eyes, going right as he looks right, then coming back left as he looks left, and he's got a little bit more quickness than BMAC, where he's able to break this one up. I've said it before, but I'll say it again, and Adams can give you maybe 75-80% of what BMAC gave you, but at a fraction of the cost. And if he can make these plays every once in a while, that's extremely valuable. And alright, that's going to do it for the video. If you enjoyed, please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below your thoughts on the video. Huge shout out to all the Texans Thoughts team members, and if y'all want exclusive content and an exclusive Discord to ask me questions or talk about the game live, hit the join button below. Also, if you need more Texans coverage, make sure to check out Texans Unfiltered. We've got a website, podcast, and YouTube channel, and all of those will be linked below. Alright, take care everyone, come back for more, and remember, the film don't lie.